Hello again, YouTube. I wanted to bring up a topic that, to be completely honest, I'm really sick of. I'm a very patient person. I try to understand people. Sometimes if I have a miscommunication, or most of the time when I disagree with somebody, it's because there's a conflicting worldview. For years and years, decades, every single issue, leftists, liberals, communists, there is a communist party in the United States, socialists, democratic socialists, it's just socialism. Go look up, I mean, sure, maybe you support Bernie Sanders, or did support Bernie Sanders. Go look up how many people died under socialism. Look up how America actually already tried socialism when the Pilgrims came. They tried socialism. Socialism looks good on paper, but it doesn't work in humanity, and it will never work in humanity. Socialistic ideas, or at least the ideas that are used to propagate socialism, such as brotherly love, helping, charity, all these different things, helping people out. Some of these are good things, but they're not meant for you to make somebody else do them. I don't want anybody to make me give to a charity, but I give to charities. I don't want anybody to force me to help somebody out who's down on their luck, but I do. The power of individualism, and I know I'm getting a little off topic, but I kind of need to cover my bases first. The power of individualism is that I know the people around me. The government does not know them. I know this kid, I call him a kid, I guess he's a man by age. He's a lazy punk. Just a disgusting individual. Has no respect. Has no thankfulness for the things that people do for him. There's no way I'll help him. Not like he is. I've watched people in his life try to help him and help him and help him and give him money and pay his bills, and when he gets in trouble with the law or he goes out and does this, they help him, they'll bail him out, they do all this stuff, and it never has helped who he is. He's in the exact same position. He's not grown in it. He's not a better person. He's just sucked thousands upon thousands of dollars and lots of worrying and lots of stress from everybody who's around him. There's not a chance I'll help him. But the government doesn't know that. And if he applies for help, I wouldn't doubt that he could get help right now. And that's why socialism is wrong. Because you know the people around you, and if you want to be kind and charitable to them, there's people who can help them that are struggling, that are legitimate cases of people losing their jobs and really trying to better their lives and different things. It ought to give them charity or any kind of financial support. That's a good thing. But that's exactly what it needs to be, is charity. If you force it, you take away the heart aspect, because basically they'll steal money from you to give it to somebody else who didn't earn it. And if they didn't earn it, we need to know why. Did they not earn it because they're lazy? They're not looking for opportunity? They're not trying to keep a job? They clash with every boss they have? Or did they not earn it because they got sick, they couldn't make it to work, and then they lost their job, or they got hurt, or the company went out of business, or, and they've tried. You need to know, but, the government doesn't care a lot of times. I understand there's certain requirements and yada, 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 but on socialism doesn't work. Democracy is not what it's made out to be. I know we have a certain form of democracy in America, but we cannot forget that we are a republic. We are a republic. And you really see that playing out, and this doesn't directly tie, but it kind of does. Democrats rely on democracy. Republicans, I hate to even say the word Republican, because the elite Republicans, establishment Republicans, there's no difference between them and the Democrats. They're power hungry. So let me say conservatism relies on the republic. Okay, the republic is founded upon individual rights. Democracy is purely the majority rules. And we kind of we're supposed to have a balance. Majority rules, but individuals have rights. And so here we go. The leftists, the liberals, they have these ideas that clash with conservatives. And they're not little ideas, they're big ideas that really change things. We want to conserve rights. You say, well, look back on traditional America. We had slavery. Well, we got rid of slavery. There's racism. There's racism in Germany, in England. There's racism in Africa. And you take away the white and black, or the Hispanic and black, or the Hispanic and Asian, or whatever. You take away the color. There's other problems that arise. There were these tribes in Africa, I think Tutsis or Watutsis. They slaughtered each other. And one of the biggest things they didn't like about each other was one tribe had large noses. That's the essence of what racism is. Stupidity. Collectivism. I really want you to remember the word collectivism. When you start saying white and black, and you start saying American, German, and you start saying South American, or you start making all the distinctions, the reason distinctions are made is so they can say, well, we're a part of the underclass, or we're the underserved, or they're trying to collect people for their cause and tie all these causes into theirs so they can propagate their ultimate goal. And collectivism destroys individuality, no matter what type of collectivism it is. I'm a conservative. However, I champion the right not to be a conservative. I am a Christian. However, I champion the right not to be a Christian. However, there are people out there who do not like these things, and so they collect the opposite side and say, look, we're different, and they don't like us because we're different. And that may not necessarily be true. A lot of times it's not. And so they divide, and when you divide, it's easy to conquer. So collectivism destroys individual rights. That is the pure foundation of socialism, is collectivism. And it destroys the rights of the individuals. Collectivism propagates this idea, and I can't even remember the term now, from everybody's ability to everybody's need. And I understand it. There's a concept there that is good when it's an individual deciding to help somebody out of their own heart, out of their own free will, out of their own love for humanity, their brotherly love, their empathy or sympathy. I get that. But they propagate the idea we're all going to have free health care. I heard it. They said free health care. The lie was you keep your doctor. You can't keep your doctor. Some have. A lot of them we lost ours because we couldn't afford the same insurance anymore. Our rate went way up. We were forced to look elsewhere. Now we're paying more for less. Some people have gotten better care under the Affordable Care Act, but the vast majority of people are paying more to support these others. People don't like the rich. Well, there's two classes of rich. There's the rich who pay politicians so that they can break the law, and they get away with it. And then there's the other rich who use all the loopholes that are legal, if you can find them, and you know, they do their business. They maybe they produce something, maybe they organize things, whatever it is they do that they got their money. And we don't like cronyism. We don't like crony capitalism. Capitalism is not a bad thing. Crony capitalism is a bad thing. Crony capitalism is where people legally break laws. They break the law. They make laws to break laws and say, well, it's okay if we do it. Here's a perfect example. This is not a conspiracy. It is absolutely true. You cannot insider trade. Martha Stewart did it. She went to jail. But certain government officials can insider trade. Makes you wonder, is that why the stock market fell or crashed or dumped itself? Something happened to the stock market the day before 9/11. Because every time something big happens, it crashes. So I think they sold out or something. Anyway, who knew about it? Who could legally insider trade? Who could have the knowledge about things that are going on, what's going to drop, what's going to fall, or raise value? Certain government officials. So this is another example. This is an example of crony capitalism. That's bad because it's not true capitalism. Capitalism is not bad. If you do not like capitalism, I encourage you to read the book Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand. That's R-A-N-D. Atlas Shrugged. It's nearly 1,300 pages. Don't be a wimp. Read it. Download it on Audible. Audible.com. Listen to it. Read the abridged. I mean, I haven't read the abridged, and I don't know what they cut out, but when you read that, you will recognize things that are happening today, almost step by step, that are in that book, and it's like, it's nearly prophetic. Not really prophetic, it's the way things were then, and they're still that way. She's pointing it out. But it really gets into the depth and the mindset of the way things are going on. After you read it, then you look at the news and say, oh my goodness, this is all happening. And then you see the end of these ideas. Capitalism is good if it's not crony capitalism. Socialism is not good. It never works. More people have died under socialism and communism than anything else. Look up democide. D-E-M-O-C-I-D-E, I think. Democide. Look up democide and socialism together. Socialism doesn't work. A democracy cannot work unless it's also a republic. And people cannot lose their individual rights and still retain individual freedoms. It doesn't work that way. So if you lose your individual rights, say goodbye to your freedoms. Say goodbye to any prosperity that you've worked hard for. It's going to be gone. Think about laws and people that you vote for and listen to them. Are they continually saying it's for everybody? We want to help people. Here's a quick concept on helping people. The left is really wanting immigrants to come in, whether they're refugees, 500,000 refugees who, if you look up what they're doing in other countries, they're absolutely, literally destroying things, murdering, raping. They're doing that here already. They want no borders. To help people is the idea, but that's not really helping them. Can we help the whole world? We can't. We can't do it. We can barely help ourselves right now. We have to fix ourselves before we can help anybody. When you get in an airplane and they're giving you all these safety procedures, what do they tell you? They say, put your oxygen mask on first before you help anybody else. Because if you're trying to get them situated and you can't breathe, guess what? You're both done. And so look at your candidates, or look at those that you are listening to, and are they always propagating, help the masses, or are they saying the individual needs rights? The individual needs rights. Because when the masses are helped, that includes people who don't want to be helped. That includes people who will take advantage of your help. That includes people who receive help and never do anything to help themselves. And it's a drain on everybody who does work hard. Okay, one more quick point I think I was going to make. I lost track. Somebody called me. Okay, so they're like, open borders because we want to help everybody. Bring in the refugees because we want to help everybody. I get that. Okay, I understand that. I think there needs to be a lot of vetting, a lot of understanding who we're letting in, all that, but whatever. Okay, open the borders and give all the foreigners and refugees and everybody benefits. Put them on social. Can't remember the name of it. Give them free health care. Give them food stamps. Give them IDs. You know, give them all these public facilities and public help, and spend all this money on them, which I also get that. But you can't be both. You can't be a country who has excellent welfare options, and a country that has basically open borders that'll let anybody in. Why? Because people like the path of least resistance, and every lazy person around the world's going to come here and get on welfare. And eventually our economy is going to crash, because those working hard, which are some 20% of Americans, pay 70% of the taxes. So all you bunch of whatever out there who are so mad at these rich people, the rich people are paying the taxes. The poor are not paying the taxes. Sure, there's some that are way up there, that may be, finding loopholes and stuff, but don't try to tax them more. Get rid of the loopholes. Don't make more problems. So you can either be a country that has a lot of options for welfare that really helps people out, or you can be a country that lets a lot of people in. You can't be both, or you'll self-destruct. It's impossible. But the left wants both. Let everybody in, help everybody, give them everything they need. Okay? There's 300 million in the United States, and only 20% or so pay the taxes that go to helping all these people. So what, that's 60 million people. Probably less than that, because that's population versus who's working. I don't know what, let's just say 50 million. There's 7 billion people in the world, plus how many people are we going to let in? When are you going to say stop? Because the left also says there's too many people in the world can't sustain it. But the United States can sustain it. There's only so much that you can do, and you can't have everything you want and not have to deal with the consequences of what it takes to support it. Okay, one more point, and I'm going to close this video. And this goes back to when I first started the conversation, or the rant, I guess you could say. I am sick and tired. I'm getting angry, and I don't get angry very often, especially about politics, and just, maybe I do get a little mad about it just because people are doing stupid things that are obviously stupid. But I brush it off easy. But this, I'm just sick of. I'm sick of it, because it's a flat out lie. Because I'm a Christian, I don't believe in homosexuality. I don't think we have the right to force anybody not to be gay. I mean, that's stupid. You can't force people to be a Christian. You can't force them to adhere to Christian moralities. I think there are some general moralities that need to be. It goes into a whole nother video. The only thing you can legislate is morality. Whose morality? I think there are some basic moralities that have to be legislated. Not stealing, not murdering, not raping. That's all morality, and it's all legislated. We all agree with it. So, but I understand too that you can't force somebody into a faith. You can't do it, and I don't want to do it. But I don't believe in homosexuality. So what do they call me? Homophobic. I'm not afraid of gay people. I've had gay people come to my church. preach the gospel just like I would any other time. Been in their homes, sit down, taught them a Bible study. Have been really kind to them. Have been loving enough to them that I could tell them and them not get all offended or angry with how I'm talking to them. Tell them, hey, according to this, if you want, we're talking about Scripture, we're talking about Christianity, you got to repent. You can't live like this. I was able to tell them that, and them still respect me. High school, had a gay friend. Didn't know it for a long time, but I'm not afraid of gay people. But the left calls me homophobic. And, all right, let's go to another issue. I don't like Islam. If you're Islamic, it doesn't mean I don't like you. Okay? I want to be open about what I believe, and I want my channel, people who comment, to be free to comment without being harassed. I can't stand people who get on the comment section and start just trashing everybody. I'm just saying I do not like Islam. And if you want to approach me on a level where we can converse about it, and I can say, hey, this is why I don't like Islam. You can tell me why you don't like Christianity. Hey, let's converse. Let's reason together. I'm all for that. Just because I say I don't like it doesn't mean I don't like you, and it doesn't mean I don't want you to be able to tell me about it or discuss it or anything. I don't like Islam. So what do they tell me? They tell me I'm Islamophobic. I'm not afraid of Islam. Just don't like it. Not afraid of Muslims. But they tell me I'm Islamophobic. That I fear Muslims. Now they've got one, I don't even know if I'm saying it right, transphobic? You're afraid of transsexuals? No, I don't want them to be in the same bathroom as my daughter. Not just that specifically, because if they truly think they're a woman, I think they've got some mental issues. I'm more concerned about people taking advantage of the law. The pervert, and look, it's been happening already. Taking pictures of little girls, or molesting women, or a number of things that have happened now because men can legally go into women's restrooms. Sick and tired of, just because I think differently and I have a different worldview doesn't mean I'm afraid of anything. And Mike Pence and Tim Kaine had their vice presidential debate last night, and I didn't listen to it, but I've heard a few highlights. One of them was where Pence was saying you can't use an example where a police officer legitimately defended himself and use that as an example of hate or racism. And that's what Hillary Clinton did. She used an example where it was legitimate, and it came out in video evidence and everything that this was a legitimate case. Even though it was a black man, it was a legitimate case where the police officer defended himself. The guy was pulling a gun. Not every case is like that, and there is racism, and that can be addressed. But Tim Kaine says, well, you can't be afraid to talk about racism in the police department. And what Pence was saying was, you can't use every example as an example of racism. And that's what the left does. Every single example. And if you don't think that's true, look up every time left-wing media or the president or anybody addresses a shooting and tell me they're not talking about the race aspect. They are every time. But every time that's not the case. It is some cases, and that needs to be talked about. It needs to be fixed. It needs to be changed. Things need to happen to individuals, and here we go back to individualism. When you have collectivism, they say, well, we're on our side, they're on theirs. If one of them do something, then they're all guilty. All cops are guilty. It's kind of like saying all black men are thugs, or it's kind of like saying all whites are racist, or all blacks are racist, or it's a bunch of bull. You know, if you're racist, it doesn't mean your race is racist. It doesn't mean your job, everybody who also has your same job, is racist. If you're a racist Walmart clerk, does that mean all Walmart clerks are racist? No. Individual responsibility. If a cop shoots somebody, not having the reason to, he individually needs to be held accountable. Not all police. If a man, a black man, robs a store, tries to take a gun from a cop, whatever, he individually has to be dealt with. Not all black men. If, you know, getting rid of stereotypes and trying to hold individuals accountable dispels this second part of collectivism. Shame on you if you call everybody that you know that disagrees with you, tell them they have a phobia. That's lazy. That's cheap. That's a bunch of hogwash. All right? Learn the issues. Be willing. You know, a bigot is somebody who doesn't care to understand what the other side believes, or dislikes somebody and is not willing to hear them out. So who's the real bigot? Anyway, I don't mean to be hateful in this, and I'm not hateful in this. I don't hate anybody. I don't. There's things I disagree with, and that's what I've spoke to in this video. So I'm sure it may get flagged, because if you're flagging it because you think I'm hateful, maybe you have conflict phobia. You're afraid of conflict. Maybe you have disagreement phobia. You're afraid of somebody who disagrees with you. Maybe you have unacceptable phobia. You're afraid of being unaccepted. Be willing. I mean, you can't force everybody to listen to you and then you not be willing to listen to anybody else. Oh, that's hate speech. No, they just disagree with you. Anyway, that's that. Maybe this helps put something in perspective for somebody. God bless you. We'll see you next time.